Hi, and welcome to part 5 of this 1942 Ford GPW restoration. In this video, we will pause the restoration and look at the many Ford and F-Mark parts found on the Jeep during the first 4 videos. From the arrival of the Jeep, it always looked like we would find some original Ford-marked parts, but we were very surprised at how many we found, many of which wouldn't have been seen since its build and construction way back in 1942. Starting with the largest part, the tub itself, the GPW and Ford stamping is on the rear of the transmission tunnel towards the driver's seat. This particular stamp was hidden below many coats of paint and will not have been seen for many years. Moving to the front of the Jeep, the next parts with the GPW stamps are the brake line guards. They look identical to the tub stamp. The tops of the shock absorber mounts have a large elaborate F stamp, as does the square cross member, one of the most distinguishing features of a GPW compared to a Willys tubular cross member on the MB. The rear shock mounts also show the larger F marks. The driver's side rear brake hub was interesting in that it had a GP stamp rather than a GPW. The hub actually predates the Jeep itself and would have been used during its many repairs and refurbishments over the years. The other brake drums had a familiar F stamp in the outer casting. The rear differential showed many marked parts, which in normal operation would never be seen. The bearing caps have a GP stamping like the brake drum just shown, with the crown wheel bolt heads displaying the elaborate F mark. The casing itself is clearly marked Ford, albeit upside down in the picture. The U-clamps holding the springs to the axles both have the F mark clearly shown. The hubcap also showed a very definite F mark. The seats both show the stamped F mark on the rear of the backrest. It's amazing and good luck that the farmer kept these, as the Jeep had a bench seat fitted at some point in his ownership. The bench seat was removed in an earlier video, and now the original seats will be reunited with the Jeep. One of the most distinguishing features of the Jeep is the grille. This grille has a very faint F mark on the inside top panel. It was hard to find under all the layers of paint, but it's still there, adding to the history of this particular Jeep. The F mark on the passenger wing is very visible from both the top and the bottom of the wing. However, on the driver's wing, the F mark is only visible from the bottom, as a lead-filled repair was done at some point in the Jeep's history and covered the top mark. The bonnet, or hood's Ford marking, wasn't found on the main structure, but on the bonnet hinge. Again, it shows a clear F stamping. The prop shafts both showed individual markings, but again, the front prop was actually marked GP, indicating an earlier part than the Jeep itself. Note also the larger diameter rear prop, which was quite a rare find on the Jeep. The steering arms, both driver and passenger side, were both marked Ford USA. This was different from all the previous parts which had been marked with a simple F or GPW. One of the original track rod ends had been repaired at some point by having the plate removed, repaired, refilled with grease, and welded back together. Although we won't reuse this part, it does show the ingenuity of the farmer and an accurate indication of where the Ford markings were on original track rod ends. Some smaller parts now from the driver's side. First, the rear grab handle. the rear reflector, the front bumper gusset, the door strap eyelet, front marker light body and cover, clutch and brake pedal shafts, headlight bowl and rear footrest. More smaller parts now, this time from the passenger side. First up is the headlight bracket, the air filter cross tube showing a very basic F mark, front marker light body and cover, rear grab handle, rear footrest, bumper gusset, windscreen hold-down hook, and both air filter brackets. The air filter brackets also had their original F-marked bolts. Additional smaller parts. The brake master cylinder bracket, the brake master cylinder cover, the generator splash guard, the clutch pivot tube, the fuel filter, the pintle hook. The brake light switch, although made by F.A. Smith Corporation, is marked Ford on the rear, with a date or March 1942. This would not normally be seen as it would be bolted to the master cylinder assembly. Now looking at the engine and gearbox, starting with the cylinder head showing a large cursive F and GPW in the casting. On to the oil pump housing. Next is the bell housing with a large F. The top of the gearbox turret. After splitting the gearbox and engine, F-marked bolts were found on the clutch pressure plate assembly. The release bearing carrier shows a very bold GPW and part number. The clutch cable and yoke are also marked. Unbelievably, inside the clutch pivot tube, there were two F-marked plates. Again, these will not have been changed or seen for many years. There were many original F-marked bolts removed up to this point in the restoration. They will all be cleaned and degreased and reused again. It is estimated that there were over 80% of the original F-marked bolts found on the Jeep, a testament to the quality of the 1940s and adding provenance and guaranteed authenticity to the Jeep. I hope you have enjoyed watching these rare Ford markings found on this GPW. You may have already been aware of some, but maybe we found some you didn't know about? If you know of other Ford markings that we haven't found or need any information on the ones shown, please comment and I will try my best to answer your questions. Look out for the next videos where we will be fabricating and welding and then painting the Jeep. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. and I'll see you in the next video.